What's up, guys? So, here we are on the job. Here with Mark and Oliver's there. He's out of frame, but he's around. I think he's on the balcony. So, anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about where I've been since the last video. And basically, it's working. So, I've been working. Um, you guys that follow the channel, you know what I've been up to. You know what I've been up to this winter. You know I've been selling firewood in my quiet tree season. And this season, well, last winter I should say, it was quiet for firewood because it wasn't very cold. And yeah, it kind of fucking sucked. So I got on Google and I made a website and I focused on getting a higher caliber of customer. And I did it, the way I wanted, and it worked out. Well, it worked out. I mean, I managed to get my website built and to get online and to become searchable, which is a big deal for me. Because, like I said, I wanted better customers, but at first, it takes a while before you can see some results, before you get your first click, so to speak. But then you start to roll, and we started to roll a little bit early this year, and it was nice. In March we were doing jobs. We had a couple of jobs in March, and we had several jobs lined up for the season already. And they weren't necessarily because of our website, but our website definitely helped us because we sent people to it. And, like, it looks fucking legit, man, especially compared to the other ones. So, like I keep on saying, fuck. So, anyway, yeah, the season started off well, and then this fucking pandemic bullshit happened, which is an excuse for them to crash the economy. Virus or no virus, and that's basically what they did. And they arbitrarily forced a bunch of people to stay home. And no, we were not forced to stay home. We were considered an essential service all along. Um, Not everything we do is essential, um, but well, the essential parts are essential. Like emergency work. So like trimming hedges or doing like aesthetic pruning or things like that, or even just a regular removal. No, that's not an emergency. That's not essential. But a branch that's about to break and fall on a house or a tree damage in a windstorm, again, same shit. It's posing a threat. Well, that's as essential as it gets. It's fucking life or death. So they call us. And a quick little aside. Right now, we've been allowed to do everything. Everything we do is considered essential. I don't agree with this. It's cool to be able to do everything, but it's not. Making someone's tree round is not essential. And on that note, landscapers too have been proclaimed an essential service. They are not essential services by no way, shape, or form. It's purely fucking cosmetic. And this is just a little rant I gotta fucking get off my chest. And if you work somewhere that's been considered an essential service, ask yourself, is it really essential? Are you essential? Like, so stop fucking bragging about that shit, man. Like, you're just a drone with a fucking boss, man. So basically, look, man, even though we were not forced to stop, um, everyone else is forced to stop. And people have no money. And people are worried. So they're not calling to get their trees trimmed, at least for the first month. But after that, business started to roll. And before the work lockdown, because of my analytics on Google, my photos were getting, I think the most views I got in a month was almost 6,000. And that was during the quiet season. And I was outperforming the other businesses like me by over 1,000%. I think the most I don't know. It was over 1,000% though, based on views and clicks and everything like that. And I'm over 10 times as productive as they are. So And that's going to change next month because the data is really only available month per month. It changes like marginally, but still. So I'm up there in the traffic, and I have a lot of pictures and videos, and I post almost every day. Almost every day. So I'm up there in relevance. But all the guys now, because the season is like about to start, all the guys now that buy their fucking space on Google, they're all paying big bucks to appear first. So I went down. I'm less viewed than the others now, which is fucking bullshit because I'm literally more than 10 times as productive, and I've been working for a while these fucking assholes were still stuck in hibernation. So I want to talk a little bit about spending money to make money. So you guys know, maybe you don't know, but I am not a hedge guy. I fucking hate doing hedges. All the hedge jobs I get are shitty. And where the video I made 2 videos ago, 2 or 3 videos ago, where I'm testing out my new steel hedge trimmer for the first time. Well, I bit the bullet on that one, and it's a funny story because, well, funny, it's a good story because I had an electric one a few years ago, 2 years ago, bought it for 25 bucks, half price, and I did a couple of jobs with it. I used to plug it in with an extension cord, again, just like on the side. If I did a bunch of trees or a big tree job for someone and they asked me if I could do like a small hedge while I was there, I was starting to get asked a lot. So small, no problem. But small became bigger and bigger and bigger, and I ended up buying a used hedge trimmer for 100 bucks. And the first job I did with it paid me 600 bucks. I split it with Mark, but it already paid for itself like several times over. And I literally bought it the day before. It was good. I did a couple of more jobs with it, and not bad. But it had its little issues. I couldn't find a shop to work on it because it's not necessarily a professional company or a big professional company. So, I mean, it kind of is, but whatever. It's not really the point. So, I ended up selling a cord of firewood to someone for $180, which is my winter price. And he hit me up and he asked me how much, and I told him. And he asked, like delivered, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yep, no problem. So he said, oh, yeah. And he said, I also see you do tree work. So when you deliver the wood, I have some other questions I'd like to ask you. So keep in mind, too, this is my winter price, and it's not winter anymore. So usually I charge a little bit less in the summer, but this is like one of the first ones I've sold in a little bit. So, I want to make my money. So he doesn't complain about my price at all. Not at all. No problem there. He was an awesome guy, actually. Is an awesome guy. So I sold him the cord of wood, 180 bucks, no problem. And then he asked me to take a look at his trees, and his trees happened to be hedges. And those are the hedges that I was trimming a couple of videos ago. And they hadn't been trimmed in a while, like a long while. So I had to put some order in them. And I hate doing hedges because, again, all the hedge jobs I get are shitty. But if the customer is cool, then I'll gladly do them. That's pretty much what it comes down to if I fucking feel like it, and I felt like it. Except, my hedge trimmer wasn't working. So I have a couple of options. I can try to fix mine. I can rent one, or I can get a new one. And renting one's not bad, but like whatever, fuck. So I just bought one. And I bought one, it cost $860 with tax. And I bought it to do a job that paid me $500. So one more job, hopefully, of that size, and it would have been paid for. So I did that job the first day, and I got my $500. The guy told me to stop towards the end a bunch of times while I was cleaning up. He kept on insisting that he would do it. But whatever, I just plowed through. And that day a bunch of people came up to me while I was working because it was a corner house. So because of that, I got a job right across the street. And I got a job right next door to right across the street. which is where I am right now. And then I got another job 4 houses down. And I got another job 5 houses down. And I got another job 7 houses down and 8 houses down. And that's all from that fucking one day. And one of them was a hedge job. Just hedges, nothing else. No chainsaw, no nothing, just hedges again. So that's my second hedge job, and that paid $600. And I did that 2 days later. So first day I made 5 bills. Second day I made 6 bills. So hedge trimmer already paid for itself. Now Mark came with me on the second day. So I gave Mark his cut. Hedge trimmer still paid for itself. So fucking beautiful, done. And now it's uh it's a worry, one less worry that I have to deal with. So I know that I'm equipped to do a lot of hedge jobs now that it would have been hard for me before. It's also longer than the one I had before, so it reaches places that I had a tough time reaching. So anyway, if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have bought the new hedge trimmer, or if I hadn't have even tried to fix mine, or if I hadn't have, spent money to rent one or anything, if I had just refused the job, then I wouldn't have gotten any of these jobs. And this job that I'm doing right now is one of those jobs that I got as a result of that. And my old boss from 3 years ago, last boss I'm ever gonna fucking have, fuck you, Norm Kelly. This job was supposed to go to him, but it went to me. So that's just the fucking cherry on top. It feels fucking great. So it's fucking cool, man. So also, I was broke all winter, and I sold wood all winter. Fucking, I did some tree work, but it was a fucking slow winter, and I did my damnedest to lay my groundwork for the spring, for the summer, and for next winter. And it was fucking tough, but this season, we're fucking rolling now. It's May 8th, and I've never really started before June. And, I would have liked to, but that's just how the demand went. And, in the month of May, I owed Mark $1,500 and I already paid him back. And I owed another dude money and he's almost paid back now too. And we're behind on our hydro payments and everything is fucking up to date now. And not only that, with money to spare, and Mark fucking not only was Mark paid back, but because Mark works on the ground and he has a lot of responsibility, but he doesn't have the responsibility that I have. So he gets a different percentage from the job than what I get. So even with Mark's percentage, like Mark Mark made almost $2,000 last week. And again, we're fucking rolling. One day last week I did 11 estimates. So and no, I'm not saying oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm just saying fuck, do your shit, man. Do your shit. Weather the storm. Stick with it. Plan your work, work your plan. That's what I'm doing right here, man. And everything you see me do, man. I'm 100% self-taught. Nobody taught me this. Nobody wanted to teach me. Like, so whatever, fuck. And everyone told me that I couldn't learn and that I was gonna die, and I was gonna kill myself. Hasn't happened yet. It'd be logical that it happens. It'd be logical that it happens that you die doing what you do more than anything else. So, if you're okay with the fact that you'll die doing what you love, well, I mean, what else would you like to die doing? So, it doesn't bother me at all. And yes, I love doing this very much. I want to do it for a very long time. It's a lot of fun. And we needed some longer rope. So the other day we went out and we bought, well, Mark bought 200 feet of rigging rope. We only had 50 feet before, and it was very thick and heavy. So he bought 200 feet, and it's nice. It's nice and thin. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and it's a lot lighter than what we were using before. It fits in our pulleys. It's easy to manipulate, and this is our first day using it, and it's fucking good, man. Like it feels fucking cool. Um, we're having trouble with light limbs before, so the rope we were using was too thick and too heavy. So this is like the perfect setup for light limbs, just over here. And unfortunately, this job was a two-parter. Like we came back 2 days in a row, and on the second day was when we did the really gnarly shit. Like right now we're doing this shit over the house on the left, but the next day it was over the house on the right, and there were a bunch of branches right over the roof that were really long, and we had to get really creative in our rigging points, and it turned out beautifully. And I charged my GoPro on the way there in my cigarette lighter in my truck, but as soon as I turned it on, it ran out of batteries. So it wasn't plugged in properly, it didn't charge. So I don't have any fucking footage from the second day. And it sucks because that's like most of the gnarly footage. This footage is cool because I'm high up, but like other than that, like, it's pretty mundane. That's why I don't mind talking over it. But yeah, one day last week I did 11 estimates. I did an estimate today, or yesterday I should say, and it was too big for me. Like the trees weren't too big. They're they're small to moderate, but there were too many of them. And that's not the type of job that I like to do, and that's not the type of job that we're really good at or equipped to do. Like we like doing more the type of jobs you see us doing right now. So this other type of job, like the trees were complex to take down, which is what we excel at, but it's just too high volume. There's too much wood to take away. There's too much. Like we're talking like 10 trips, 20 trips with a trailer to the dumping ground, and it's $50 to dump every time, plus the time and gas to load and unload and to drive there. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It sounds like it's not, but it is, man. It fucking adds up. And I was explaining to the customer that I don't normally do jobs that size. And he said, yes. He said, why, you're not confident in your ability? I said, no, I am. And I don't like to do jobs that size. It's a pain in the ass, fuck. It's a pain in the ass, and we're not equipped to do shit like that. Like, we use a wheelbarrow and a hand truck, which is fine because most of the time we're taking down one tree, or like one tree at a time. Like, this guy has 18 trees on his property, and they all need to be taken down, and they're all near high tension lines. So I told him to call Hydro, and that Hydro is probably going to take care of it for free, which is true. And then he asked me why I couldn't just take care of it. So I told him I couldn't just take care of it because the trees are closer than 3 meters or 10 feet from the high tension lines. And if I'm within that distance, the electricity can arc. And if it does, it will kill me. So call the hydro company because they're going to come and fucking check it out for free. And if they deem it a threat, they're going to fucking hack it apart for free. Now, they're not artists, they're butchers. But this is what they do. I explained to them that I have a fucking 100% success rate with customers that I referred to the hydro company, which is true. Every single time. And the one time that they couldn't show up, they actually told the customer that I could do the job, and they wanted me to tell them when I was going to do it so they could turn off the grid for me. Like, that's fucking amazing. And it turned out that they didn't even need to do this because they had made some sort of fucking oversight and they were able to pass by and take down the entire tree for free. So they didn't have to shut the grid for me. I didn't have to risk anything. And I told the guy too, I said, this is a fucking pain in the ass because even if they do shut the grid for me, like there's still, like the wires aren't live, but there's still current in them. So I don't want to get shocked, and it's still an obstacle that I can't fucking hit, man. It's in the way. And it's not just one wire, it's a whole fucking set of wires. Like, it just sucks, man. 18 trees in the wires. So I told them that it was too big and that I didn't want to fucking be handcuffed to a job like that for too long, especially if I wasn't getting, what was worth my while. And he said, "Well, tell me what's worth your while." And it's like, "Well, dude, man, I charge $2,000 a day. Like if I get my price, and if I don't underestimate, which I do often, you know, most of the time it's by accident, but that's like the rate that I'm going for. If I can, if I can comfortably make $1,000 in a day, then that's good too. But I aim for two. And honestly, it sounds a lot. It sounds ambitious and everything like that. But even $1,000 in a day, like it's not a lot, man. It's not a lot for the shit that we have to do for it. We should be getting more. So this job too, in particular, I undercharged. I foolishly charged. Well, I didn't charge enough at the onset, and I did more than I should have. But this word of mouth is going to go a long way. It already has. So I don't mind. And I'm happy to stick it to my old boss. So it's not enough. And for me personally, like it was more about personal pride than anything else. And I don't want to beat someone by a hair's breadth. I know, I guess that's all that matters, just that you win, whether it's by a quarter inch or a quarter mile. I want to win by fucking miles and miles and miles and miles. Like, I don't want it to be a good fight. I want to bitch slap the fucking competition. Like, that's how much better than my old boss I want to be. And, that's not even a good goal to set myself on because I surpassed it a long time ago. And it's, his ability in particular is nothing. So it's fucked up, man. Because that's another thing too. Like people say that people wonder if you can learn something like from YouTube or from watching. Like it depends. It depends on you. Before YouTube, people learned from nothing. So yes, you can absolutely learn from YouTube. Like I said, no one taught me how to do this shit. And the setup that I have like right now, I didn't build it overnight. This is the third year and I've been tinkering with things and I have a curious mind which helps. A lot like myself included, but a lot of guys have the attitude that if it's not broke, don't fix it. But that's fine. Like I said, myself included, but every job is different. Every situation is different. So if your classic setup works perfectly at every single job you have, then congratulations, you have the perfect setup. But every job has different obstacles. And each obstacle is going to require some creativity on your part, no matter what. So that usually involves setting things up differently for yourself, and that usually involves either changing your setup around and making adjustments or adding or substituting a little gadget or piece of equipment here and there. It's all about work positioning. People think it's about the saws. It's not really. Like, yes, your saws like need to be in tip-top condition and stuff, and that goes without saying. But like, unless you're a faller and all you do is fell trees, then the saw is probably it's the most important piece of equipment. But if you're a climber, like I would argue that, like I said, it goes without saying that your saw has to be in perfect working order. But beyond that, the climbing is everything. You're only cutting maybe 5% of the time, and everything else about the job, everything is work positioning. That's why you do all the things that you do. If you're an arborist, it's to get into good work positioning. And some guys do less because they're gifted and they don't need to do more. They're just smart and they're balanced and they're naturally efficient, and other people do less because they're just sloppy and they're lazy. Some people do too much and it's overkill, and I think it's inevitable. Like if you pay your dues in the field, then you find your fucking way. But if you cut corners, then you're going to work like shit. That's it. And everyone works differently, but please guys, don't cut corners. Do it your way, do it the tedious way. And Another thing worth mentioning is that sometimes too, especially when you're starting out, you're gonna feel like you're gonna feel like you find a way to do a job, but your way is very tedious. And you're kind of worried that if people see you, like you're gonna look stupid because you're doing it in a tedious way. And you're gonna tell yourself something like, "Oh, if I had skill, I'd be like zip, 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 fast, 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 fast." That's not true. Okay, like you might get there, you might become like that eventually, you might not. But doing things a tedious way, as long as you work clean and methodically, like people are gonna be very impressed. They're gonna be surprisingly impressed, and it's going to make you look better than if you zip through shit. Like, trust me, man. Trust me. Earn your fucking speed naturally. And if you're not a speedster, it's because you're not made to be a speedster. Like I can do like shit fast, but that's not necessarily where I shine. And where I shine actually, like one of the things I really like to do, I really like rigging. I really like rigging. You know what I'm doing right now. And this is something that Mark and I avoided our entire first season, except towards the end, because we didn't know how to do it. So we just did jobs with no rigging. And when you do estimates, we could do the estimate for everything except for what needed to be rigged. So yeah, we could use a tow rope, a guide rope, like we knew how to do basic shit like that, but a timber hitch, like the knot like I just tied, like we didn't know how to do that. Again, some very, very, very basic stuff, but for the most part, no. Because it meant you needed a second set of hands on the ground. And that made the job infinitely more complicated and, hence more expensive. So my first season, I got comfortable doing little banger jobs for, let's say $200, best case scenario $500 for the day. And they were all jobs that I could do myself, limbs that I could drop myself, or trees that I could fell myself. And either it was like one tree that was just the right size and the right price, or a bunch of little ones. So that's what I aimed for. But once I opened my mind to the possibility of learning how to rig, or teaching myself how to rig, I should say, then, the jobs kind of almost flooded in. Because even if people don't know that you know how to do it, you can sell them on the fact that you can do it. And you can offer to get that big long branch that's reaching over the house that no one can figure out how to get. Okay, like the tree guys can figure it out, but onlookers or, the neighbors or the homeowners look at the branch every day and it's like 50 feet in the air and it's 20 feet long, let's say, or 30 feet long. There's no way for it to fall without scraping against the house, and you tell them that you can get it down and you're not going to hit anything, and that like not even a leaf is going to brush up against the wall, and they're really intrigued on how you're going to do it. And it's not bluster or anything like that. I mean, okay, maybe some of it is, but it's complete fucking fact. It's like, yeah, man, if there's a possible way, I can do it. And it's my job. It's my job to find a way to do it. So one of the many, many, many reasons why, I keep saying I love what I do. All the variables, all the responsibility and independence, and, all this shit's completely my call. So that's it, man. No excuses. And I got some more footage to upload. It's already in the works, and we have more jobs coming up, so more footage coming up. I got some new toys, not just a hedge trimmer, new other shit, but I'm keeping that on the semi down low for the time being. So I hope everyone's good, man. And don't sit at home with your thumb up your ass waiting for Big Brother to tell you when it's okay to get back to work. Find a way. Find a way. Like what way, I can't fucking tell you. It's different for every person. But if you want to do what I did, the blueprints are on my channel. If you want to do something similar to what I did, or not similar at all, the blueprints are still on my fucking channel. So find your own way, guys. Alright, see ya.